Then it got me because I'm from Philadelphia. I'm naturally an Eagles fan.
Sure.
And also, let's not talk about the Eagles, bro, because, man.
What's up, everybody? My name is Adam, and I'm the host of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, the show that is dedicated on bringing on passionate people, learning about their stories, and delivering value to entrepreneurs. So if that's what you're interested in, go ahead and follow, like, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, sitting across the way, is the person that has the most drip at Georgia Southern's Business Innovation Group. Drippy, sir. Always fresh to death, head to toe. Mr. Wynter, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. How you doing, man?
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. I do have to compliment you on your dress. I mean, every single time you're always wearing the freshest of the fresh. But tell me a little bit about kind of what it is that you do. You are with Wynter Media Productions, and I'm super excited to speak with you.
Yeah.
You are actually the first guest that I've ever had that's also in the media production game. So super excited about talking about the things that you're doing. So
Yeah. Well, a little bit about Wynter Media. We're a multimedia firm.
Okay.
So what we do, we create great first impressions for businesses, and we're mainly focused on rebranding and branding. So yeah, man.
Amazing.
That's what we do.
Glad to have you here. Mr. Wynter, you are actually not from Statesboro.
No.
So I need to hear the story of how you ended up here and how you like it so far.
So how I ended up here, man, it's been a journey. It's a long journey.
Okay.
First, I was raised in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'll say my passion for photography started there.
In Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first form of media that I fell in love with the passion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That just developed to something even bigger.
Uh-huh.
My mom used to take me to community college when I was about like 7.
Okay.
So raised by a single mother, she took me into the dark room when she
was a photographer.
She was taking photography courses.
Okay.
So I'm inside the dark room with her as I'm like 7 years old, learning how to do this.
Oh, man.
So I fell
Just
in
got
love with it, man. And I fell in love with it. Then from there on, it just was kind of like something I was good at, but I didn't notice that it was such a big deal until I got to high school. I didn't care for photography at all. I just knew how to do it. It was to the point that I remember I just joined the photography club in high school, and I just took photos just to do it because you need to pick up like a extra articular class, and I won like some award or something like that, and they nominated me for like president of the photography club.
Wow.
So that later on, didn't really pay attention to it. So I was like,
at this
still,
point,
bro, still, just caught up with everything else, life, you know, and then when I was about like 22 or 23, ended up going to the same college my mother went.
Okay.
Study photography, and got a scholarship to go to Barry University, and that's in Miami, Florida.
Gotcha.
So that from right there, I believe that's when that passion and that plan, just like a longer plan, just started coming about. I just knew that going to Miami is where I'm going to start my career. So went out there for about 6-7 years and met my wife in the photography lab.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from
this
there
photography lab, man. It seems like
man.
some magic comes out of that
right?
thing.
There's something about it, man, you know? So we're from there on, once I hit Miami, man, it was over. Like, or not over, that's when the beginning starts. So
yeah.
I'm starting to actually have clients that need photography at all different angles. And then, you know, as an entrepreneur, man, or someone that does business, it's about us serving. And then that just ended up being, hey, can you, clients asking me like, hey, can you take a photo cover for my album?
Okay.
Hey, can you do graphics as well? I need like a signature, a title on it. And I'm all like, you realize once you start saying no too many times, people start fading away.
Yes.
And I'm all like, I'm losing some income here, and I'm not serving my clients all the way right. So as soon as I just like started understanding that, all right, how can I serve them and how can I learn to be better?
Yeah.
So that just transferred over to like clients saying like, hey, I want videos done. I'm starting to learn video and just doing it.
Yeah.
And that adapted to websites, to marketing to branding, the whole spectrum, bro.
Love that.
So from there on out, I just had my how we got to Statesboro, or how I got myself to Statesboro, was just I had my son around 2017, and from there on out, man, just wanted a better life for him. Started understanding that's not really all about business all the time.
Sure.
And it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, so just wanted my son to actually be in a better environment, and also for myself and my family. So from there on out, man, just ended up coming to Savannah, and we just knew my mother lives in Savannah. We just knew we wanted to be at least 45 minutes away. Yeah. So I've mainly started falling in love with Statesboro because of the dude, man, it's like a city out of nowhere. As soon as like you come from Savannah all the way over here, you're like losing signal. And then out of nowhere, it's just like a little city over here. It's a college.
Yeah.
And then it got me because I'm from Philadelphia. I'm naturally an Eagles fan.
Sure.
And also, let's not talk about the Eagles, bro, because, man. But we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, we're not going to.
But overall, I fell in love with Statesboro because of that, too, as well. I'm like, Eagles? Oh, yeah, I like this town over here.
Yeah. Have you been to any of the games?
None. I went to the Tormenta game.
Okay.
But that's about it.
We're going to get you into some games this year. I think that's critical. Wow. So I want to, there's a lot in here that I want to kind of like talk about. Your mom, did she have a knack for photography? Why was she taking photography classes at that time?
So my family, they just we're just creative spirits, man. My mother she's a very artistic. It was kind of a passion that she liked doing at college. So she just took that class numerous times. And for some reason, that was just I'm sure she brought me to a whole bunch of other classes, but that was probably like the one class I actually liked because we're actually doing something. Because every other class, I remember just like sitting there, I'm probably in the back doing my homework or something, and people are just talking, and it's just a conversation. I wasn't really entertained by stuff like that. Sure. So as a young boy, you know, you're trying to move around, run around and stuff like that. And with that actual course, we'll go outside all across the city. As a class, man, like we might go on the subway and go towards City Hall. Yeah. And then we just everyone shoot whatever they want for about an hour, and then we all come back at the school and we're developing film.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's one thing about that.
So do you think that, you know, is art something that is innate? Is that like, you know, is it a genetic thing? Or is it something that can be trained? Because you said that you know your family comes from a line of just artistic spirit. And I have to say that my family's the same way. You know, my parents, they met kind of like playing music together.
Oh, really?
And so that aspect of it, I connect with. But my question to you is that something that you think is genetic or?
Possibly, man, because and also my family too as well. My family's from Panama. Okay. So they just my mom came from Panama. And first my grandmother, so they immigrated here. Okay. So I could relate in a sense like that. But yeah, in a sense, I think it is genetically and also something that everyone has. Mm-hmm. It's a portion of that and balancing the other side. Yeah. You know, that actual business side of things. Okay. That we had to learn and just adapt to.
Man, I'm gonna love this conversation because you know I think art oftentimes gets separated from business. Right? Because, you know, business is supposed to be this very logical, not as emotional, whereas like art is such a emotional driven thing. Yeah. Where do you think that the two connect?
I believe they connect because I believe in business it's all spiritual. So, and this is just something that I just started adapting myself into. Just like even the sense of serving one another and how income comes in. Once you realize that's not physical, actual entity, and you just understand it's a spirit, more of a spiritual thing.
That's right.
That's kind of where I stand at with that, man. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a constant balance. It's a sense of factual information, but at the same time, a large portion in something that's not necessarily looked at is that spiritual creative side. Yeah. You know?
channeling that and bringing that into the surface. I love that.
Absolutely.
So you kind of have this initial kind of like experience, and I found it so interesting that you're getting voted into. Were you the president of the photography club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even during this time where people are I'm assuming all around you being like, you're the one.
Yeah.
You're the one.
Yeah.
But you didn't see that yourself.
Yeah, and that's sort of something that, how can I say, God just put in my life, man. Just like I definitely relate to like Moses or something. You know what I mean? Like Moses didn't want to lead the Israelites, bro.
That's
like,
right.
He didn't want to be a leader.
Uh-huh.
But that's just something that, some things are just like that. Some people could just see it and they accept it, man. Accept what life is and what God's giving you.
And when did you accept that? So you saying like, when you went to Miami, was that the moment that you were like, hey, like this is something that I believe is God's gift.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pursue this with full intention.
I believe when I had my son.
Wow.
Yeah. So during that time when me and my family, we moved over here to Statesboro, around that time I accepted. That's when you just realize there's a higher power and a higher plan that's operating outside what we can control.
Sure.
And that's when I was just all like, oh man, I'm just gotta accept it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you kind of initially came, so talk to me about the business that you were doing in Miami.
So in Miami, I was mainly doing, I was still doing business. So our business started in 2019.
Okay.
But before that, I was operating in business, doing that, I believe, for about 6 or 5 years. So that's just gigs, man. Gigs and side jobs here and there, knowing the right people. Just, I'm all around just doing things, man. And
Sure.
it was a great, yes, bro.
That's why
That's why I resonate with you very well. I like what you do, man, because when I tell you, when you're in the city and you're just like hustling and bustling and you're just like getting it done and people can see that a mile away, man. There's so many things you're gonna see, so many people you're gonna meet, so much information and fruit out there. And it's just, man, like one day I'll be shooting a product on a yacht, man. And then the next day I'm on a beach or in another country, man. Like
it's just moving.
Yeah, man. You're just serving.
Yeah. Talk to me about that. So like, I'm assuming that you finished school, right?
Oh, no, actually I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
What was the reason behind that?
So the reason why is just, so I got a scholarship for $144,000 to go to Barry University. And this is where I had to smarten up, and you can actually see that transition when I'm like, all right, I accept being a leader.
Okay.
I was just more of a accepting life as it goes.
Sure.
I'll just say yes or yeah, not really read in detail.
Sure.
But as the end of the semester comes, I'm seeing that, all right, that's $12,000 or split up in between all those times. And my family, man, I'm just all self-funded.
Sure.
I'm 23 at the time. I'm literally I already had work history. I'm working constantly. So I get over there and they're like, hey, you have a balance for like $30,000. I'm like, how? I have $144,000 in the scholarship. I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
So from there on out, man, I had by the end of that semester, I couldn't even actually finish it all the way. So I had a choice to either go back to Philadelphia or stay there. And honestly, man, that trip to Miami was truly God's testimony, man. Like, he had my hand. I wasn't supposed to be going down there. I wasn't even supposed to make it out there. And literally had a 85 Chevy El Camino, one box of clothes, one camera, Canon SL1, and what I believe that was it, man. I drove down like 16, 17 hours to the school, and I'm staying in the dorm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a grown man, but I'm still living, how can I say, like, I'm living a dream, man.
Yeah.
And it's all like, just because of certain circumstances, I can't change that plan.
Yeah.
Like, I plan to go down there for at least a year or 2 years. I can't allow school, academics, or anything to change that.
Yeah.
And the amount of knowledge, that was one of the best decisions I made, man, was not just only going down there, but staying down there.
Sure.
And the amount of knowledge I got, I would have never got that from school.
So it's faith.
Faith and hope.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
At the core.
Everything,
bro. That's one thing that when I accepted leadership, just literally, I understood that I have a responsibility now.
Yeah.
And I'm taking responsibility of not just only faith, which is so important, but values as well. Keeping starting a foundation down, knowing what my values are as a person and as a business, overall. So, yeah, man, faith is so important, especially as an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah.
Because we're faced every day. Every day. There's articles, there's people. Everyone's just doubting you, man, but faith is so important, bro.
Talk to me about what you were like before.
Before, not grounded. Not grounded at all.
But you
man.
were still hustling.
Yeah, hustling and bustling, like just society-wise, you know what I mean? Didn't necessarily have any I had values, but not, I didn't stand on them as much. Now, like, I stand on them more than anything. So that's the difference, and now it's just balancing those two out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what has that done for you and kind of like your business, right? So like, what I'm hearing is, your faith is at the core of a lot of the decisions that you've made.
Yeah.
And now that you've kind of like basically said, hey, like this, I'm entrusting the growth and everything to you.
Yeah.
What has been the result?
The result is, one, we're still standing. One thing for sure, bro. So we got incorporated, or I decided, like, you know what, I want to do this LLC thing in 2019.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what happened in 2019, right? So I'm like, wow, you cannot be serious right now. And just from there on out, man, it's just understanding, like, I need a plan. Like, that's one thing that I know that helped a bunch is just coming up with a plan, man.
Yeah. Coming
up with a set of values. I have a bunch of mentors and just people that I've met that have successful businesses and just taught me a lot. And they just told me these certain principles that always stuck with me. And they're just saying, just keep your values first before anything and always think for the long run. I don't ever think short term. And I think that's why our business is going to be here for a long time.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows now multimedia is taking over, man.
That's right.
But who's going to be here for the long run?
That's right.
Who's going to have a set of values? One of our actual phrases is Multimedia Made Righteous. And that's all around, bro. Like, we don't produce anything if there's any sense of like, all right, this may not be the right thing to put out here because we looked at the product and there's something false advertising here.
Okay. Who's
going to actually say or take the responsibility as a production company or a firm to say, no, we're not going to put that out there? That's because rare. Exactly, bro. And it's a lot of fake and a lot of just false advertisement out there. And a lot of people don't understand the responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah, talk to me about that, right? So like, multimedia, I'm sure that in Miami, it's like everywhere, like because because everybody that can go out and get a camera now is a media production company, right? Well, let's go, like So how do you rise above? I mean, obviously, like your morals, right, is kind of like something that keeps you guys above that.
Yeah.
But how do you in this arena where there's this much competition?
Yeah.
How do you face it?
Understanding, like I said, those mentors and relationships I had, that was proof in the pudding, man.
Yeah.
Like, once I understood what society sees as successful, and when I actually seen a version of success or something that's inspiring or motivation for me, not necessarily envious of wanting what they have, but just like I could respect that and I want to shape and form of that in my own, in some way or form, like just a family business for an example. I don't want to have a business like Henry Ford, but that's a family business that I definitely would love to implement in some shape or form. So just like having these conversations with like people like that and just understanding that, hey, word of mouth marketing has been working since.
That's true.
Since all these different things, man. Technology is going to continuously adapt. I mean, yes, we're supposed to adapt, but certain principles have stayed around forever, bro. And word of mouth, if you have quality work, if you have great communication, if you have trust, three aspects in multimedia that I believe everyone should have, dude, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You don't even have to market.
That's great advice right there. That's amazing advice. Let me ask you something else. If there was an entrepreneur out there that has interest in stepping into the media production game, what advice would you give them?
Make a plan.
Yeah.
Make a plan. Dive into it. That leap of faith we're just talking about. Make a leap of faith, man, and stay consistent. Consistency and just discipline. Find out where your values are. Be in tune with yourself and just understand the main principle. Like, once you identify certain things that hasn't changed over the value of time, like service. We've been servicing each other for how many years, man? Once you understand the act of service and just providing that phenomenal service to clients and just doing all that it takes, and just constantly adapting, man, you're gonna be all right. Just keep going.
In your eyes, what's kind of like the future look like?
Oh man, it's gonna be epic, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a lot of something's cooking up right now. We're definitely in a phase where technology and multimedia is gonna expand. If you think just the iPhone 10 years ago, bro, it just impacted us, no, bro. Like, there's a lot of things just adapting now, like AI technology, the AI, and just not just only in text writings, but I mentioned just technology-wise because I have a bit of a story. I went to Shanghai, China before the pandemic, right?
Okay.
In 2018.
What were you doing out there?
So I was shooting a motivational video for a partner of mine, and also it was like a leadership development course I was doing for Allegheny Franciscan Ministries.
Okay.
So I was out there mainly for personal development and also doing some work too at the same time.
Nice.
Typically, I like doing two birds at one stone or something.
This.
Yeah.
That's how I play.
Yeah, man. So I'm over there just like seeing what they're doing, man. And I was just like astonished of like the technology just in Shanghai alone. Like I literally had, so over there's an app called WeChat, right? Okay. This app uses every single thing. This is your Facebook. This is your contacts. This app has all those things integrated into that actual application. I have an iPhone 5. There's certain applications you can't download with an iPhone 5, right?
Okay.
So I download this WeChat app. I'm in an actual restaurant.
Yeah.
And this restaurant is years old, man. Everything's in Mandarin, and I'm talking about this menu is faded.
Yeah.
I literally pull out this app, and it's almost like the QR codes that we have now on the iPhones. This app literally translated it into English like that.
Yeah.
It was just amazing how much technology I was seeing. That's just one form of it, but man, it's just a lot of stuff going on right now, man. Our phones, AI technology, it's a lot of great things that's gonna come out.
What do you think? How do you think? I guess AI, like, it's the hot topic, right? Everybody's talking about ChatGPT and what it's doing. I mean, I think the low hanging fruit, on the ChatGPT side is really like scripts. Right? Like, before you would have to like, oh my God, I have to figure out like, what these people are saying. Now you can just throw it to like this, AI, and then all of it becomes generated. Yeah.
And the way how it's adapted, just from the last time I checked it, man, is going pretty fast. Like, I seen app that one of those AI apps create a business plan.
It's crazy.
And when I tell you I proofreaded it about like 3 times, I put like a couple different grammar like text checks on there, and it was clean. Yeah. So it was just that alone is very like amazing to just see it.
Is that good or is that bad?
It depends how you look at it, man. I think just keeping, that's where those values, and all those keep us handy. I'm mainly a authentic person. I like more authenticity more than anything.
Sure.
So and also, even though I'm in the multimedia field, man, my balance just in life is just, I like doing the most minimal thing. Like I told you before, I like going hiking.
Yeah.
I like not having a phone. I like just all of those things. But it's great, man. It's gonna be great on what good things could come out of it.
Sure.
Because there's also gonna be bad things and everything, but there's gonna be a lot of great things off of that. Imagine the actual someone that can't necessarily communicate the way how they would like to, but they don't have to go anywhere now. just finding a person that could actually create a business plan for you, for an example, is very tough. If someone doesn't necessarily have that skill, that could be a huge benefit for them.
That's true. I mean, I think, I'm starting to see the technology. There's a lot of controversy around it right now.
Yeah.
So it's becoming, banned in schools. Like, you're not supposed to use it in school.
Yeah.
Because of the fear of, like, what it means. But I think, like social media, if there's a will, there's a way, right? The kids are going to still do it. They're still going to do it.
Yeah.
But does that, leave a space where that knowledge of how to do it, that those brain exercises that we had to take to get to that point of like drafting up this, business plan, does that weaken that muscle? There's no longer any need for it, right? Like, it's a very kind of like interesting moment in time.
Yeah.
Because AI for us is going to only increase our throughput, because we're going to be able to do so much. It's like a personal assistant.
You can see it. Exactly.
Right? But, for the next generation that comes through, when they've relied on this piece of technology for everything.
Exactly.
What happens, right? Like, I don't know.
That's where I believe it's always a balance no matter what. Mm-hmm. You cannot rely. Too much of anything is not good for you, bro.
Yeah.
Too much of anything. Too much of regardless of what, you should know the basics of everything first. Yeah. So if you're completely on that side of thing, on that side regarding like relying on AI technology, oh no, you're a goner. You gotta actually know the basics. But if you balance it out, man, it could work too as well. So always with the sense of adapting.
Sure.
And just saying how we could just implement it, man.
I love it.
In the best way.
I love it. Let's talk. Let's go back to multimedia, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you? You mentioned that you do a lot of branding.
Yeah.
And, kind of like brand management, and obviously like multimedia is the way that, a brand comes to life through the way that we consume content these days.
Absolutely.
What is kind of like at the core your approach when you're kind of working with, brands, right? Like, a brand comes to you, and how do you kind of start that conversation?
Just find out what they're recently now. We've been asking what clients, where their mission, ask questions more on what's their concise expectations, from us. What's their expectations on success, their KPIs.
Yeah.
And understanding those two things, that's for like the basic necessities so that we could just get straight to the point.
Sure.
To whatever they provide. But the key thing that I believe a lot of clients need more than anything, just rebranding wise or branding wise, find out what their mission is, find out what their vision is, find out what their values are. Go back to the root of the actual foundation of the business, man. Every so often you're gonna need a rebranding of every company does it, man. Even McDonald's has been around for God knows how long, and they're still rebranding.
Constantly evolving.
Yes, constantly evolving and adapting. So just going back to the root and just transferring that in a lighter picture. So for an example, in Miami, if you're marketing in that area, just understanding where you are to your target audience. I'm just gonna use Miami as an example. Colors, understanding what colors you're picking for certain things. For an example, like if we're rebranding a logo, we typically go for higher key colors, neon colors for Miami. But now it's a little bit more matter tone, so you can't go completely neon. You have to tone it down just a bit. You know what I mean? So just understanding those key elements and explaining that to the client, man.
And how do you stay on track of like, because you're talking about trends right now, right?
Yeah.
Because, there's usually kind of like some brands that are constantly evolving, and you're seeing like, boom, okay, like neon's in right now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's starting to tone down a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you stay on top of all of these different things that are happening? Is it just a feel that you have, or?
It's just honestly just looking at the facts too, man. Like mainly all the how can I say, all the major clients that we work with, they're longer range clients, or they're looking for the long term. They're fine with when we develop something, we're looking for something that could stay around more than 10 years. So it's just understanding what's the trend and staying away from those trends. So we want to be the trendsetters, not the ones following.
That's right.
So So yeah, man. I believe just as we adapt to technology and what's going on, man, we could just implement that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your style, man. Like I always will come back to this.
I appreciate it.
Where do you get that inspiration from?
Probably my grandfather, man. He was a musician. And like I said, it was just a long line of just like creativity, man. If I show you a picture of this guy, man, you'll crack up. Like he's just literally super stylish. So I think that's genetically. And I don't try to do it. It just happens, bro. Like I really don't. But one thing too, I just recently, as soon as I actually moved out here, and I actually took my responsibility to the highest peak, or just accepting myself as a leader, man. Understand that I just gotta carry myself in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's just like not just only out in public, but just in general, man.
What about, so you mentioned that musicians.
Yeah.
Do you play any instruments yourself?
No, not at all. I mean, I dabble, but not really professional or anything. Yeah, like I know how to play a couple tones with the guitar, the piano, or even drums, but no, I don't really mess with it, man.
So the main thing is really like the video, photo. Are there any other areas that you have that artistic ability like really come out? Do you do any painting or art in that nature?
Yeah, I actually did photography and I like art. I actually do like doing art, man. Totally forgot about that. So yeah, that's a passion I like pretty much doing, man. Like so we produced some art shows in Miami. About like 2 art shows. It's called Perspective Miami. So that's something that I'm very, very passionate about, man.
Love that. Yeah, Talk to me about that.
So with Perspective Miami, we gathered up about 10 local artists, about like 10, 20 artists, and yeah, man, just show our work and just have people come out from the community, investors, art galleries. That blew up pretty big too in Miami.
Where was that at?
That was, it's pretty much like a post-up event.
Okay.
So our last show was at Micaiah Gallery. That was listed as the number 3 gallery in Wynwood. So
which I love that area.
Oh yeah,
man, Wynwood.
Oh yeah, it's wait until you go back. I can't wait, man. Because literally every time I go back, and it's like I go at least like 4 times a year, man. Something's new. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's a passion I like getting into. I'm definitely gonna start getting back into that.
So you said that photography, you're just taking the photography and then doing it at a larger scale, or like, are you actually doing any type of after touches to it, or what are you doing?
So it all depends on what type of content I'm trying to create, man. My first actual set of piece was the concept was one man's trash is another man's gold. So literally, man, that's when I first came to Miami. I love Wynwood, man.
Yeah.
And I understood that you can make anything look great.
Yeah.
Even a screwdriver or something like that. So I'll just see the area and the environment of the city, take pictures of it, and whatever area that I'm taking pictures of, I'll grab elements of that area. It'll be a battery, man, an old battery, or just you might see a flower, a palm tree or something like that. I'll go ahead and implement it on a frame and then paint it in gold.
Okay.
So that's one type of concept that I
Love
did.
That.
But yeah, I'm starting to get more into nature. I could see myself doing it.
Okay.
So that's mainly where I'm at right now, just like embracing the nature life, man. And then shortly after I embrace it for my own eyes and stuff, I'm gonna start taking pictures again.
Love it.
And
Well, I'm super excited about that. I think, your path has been so interesting to me because it's such a, the fact that you did not recognize yourself, that you had this within you.
Yeah.
And then when that turn came where you said, hey, I'm going to do this, and then now creating all of the opportunities that you have in front of you.
Absolutely.
It's definitely what you said earlier, which is like you've put it into his hands.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have that faith is very inspirational to me.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
That. But I have to thank you for coming on to the show.
Dude, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it so much.
And dude, you're doing an excellent job, man.
Thank you.
Like, seriously, like your marketing, dude, if you're in Miami, you'll be be going in right now, man. But I mean, honestly, man, you just looking at your podcast, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Statesboro, and I think you can see the vision for the long run. That
Absolutely.
Yeah, this place is gonna be huge, man.
Let's do it together, man.
Let's do it, brother.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Right, no, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And that's the show.
Great, man. Dude, that was great.